Hello, in this video I'm going to address one of the questions we get a good bit, or one of the concerns people have, and that is finding a domain that is showing that it has keywords ranking in Google, and then when you go to look up that keyword or keywords in Google, you can't find the site. And just want to tell you why that can happen, how it can happen, and some of the things that you can do to further investigate a site's rankings and see if it still has ranking potential, even if it has lost some of its rankings. So, the best way to do that is with an example and some explanations. First of all, we get our keyword data from semrush.com, and they update their database of search results and keyword rankings once a month. It's normally on the first of the month. It's a pretty reliable schedule. Um, so it is possible between one update to the next that a site's rankings change, or a site no longer has the rankings. So for whatever reason, some sites retain their rankings for a much longer time, even after they've expired or after they're further along in the process, and others lose them more quickly. So that's something to be aware of, and there's not much we can do about that lapse in time from update to update. But there are some things that you can do to further investigate a site's rankings if they're not showing up how you would expect them to. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this forum gsmrepair.com. We're going to click on that, and you'll see the keywords. Now these aren't really exciting keywords, it's just keywords that make for a good example. So we're going to take this one right here, RSD Lite 4.9, and it's supposed to rank 14 in Google. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that it doesn't. It no longer ranks in Google for number in the 14th position. So if you were to go and look and you can't find it, you're like, well, this site doesn't rank for anything. But here's some things that you can do. First, you can go to Google, and you can go to search settings, and you can scroll down, and where it says number of results, just change that from 10 to 100. That's going to be the default. Okay, so let's change it to that, and then we can enter our keyword in, and we're going to get the top 100 results for that keyword. Now, according to SEMrush's data, that's ranked at 14. So if we go to position 14, and I have a Firefox extension installed that numbers the results, so you're not going to see these position numbers, but just to let you know. So you can see at number 14, our site is not there. So what you can do is you can take the site name, which is forumgsmrepair.com, and do a search, and you can see it now ranks at number 26. So the point is, the rankings do change and fluctuate, and if you go in Google and set the number of results to 100 and do this little trick where you just search for the domain that's supposed to be ranking, you can see if it still ranks in the top 100. And so this one has dropped about 12 spots. Another check you can do is to go back and copy the URL that SEMrush has as ranking for that keyword. And we're going to go back to Google, and we're going to do what's called a cite command. So we just type in cite, paste in the whole URL, and then hit search. And so here is the page that SEMrush says ranks. And the point of this search is that the cite command shows the pages that Google has in their database or their index for a particular site. And we put in the specific URL, we can see whether or not Google still has that page indexed, or still has information, still knows about that page. And if it is, if you get the result and you get that page back, then you know that it's still in Google's index, and that perhaps by registering the domain and building some backlinks to it and getting some content up using this exact same URL structure, you could very well recover those rankings for Google. So those are just some things to be aware of, that if you don't see it at its normal search position, you do the little 100 results trick and see if it's dropped further, see if it's still ranking and just perhaps maybe lower, and then to check to see if the page is still indexed by Google. If it's still indexed by Google, there's a good potential that you could maybe rescue those rankings and get some of those rankings back. If it's no longer in the index, I might not take as close a look at that domain, but everyone will have a different opinion on that. So that's just some tips and ideas and some explanations to hopefully explain what you see going on with the various ranking data.